Okay, so let's start off with an interesting story, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll elaborate on this story connected to Shavuos. Okay, which is connected as I put on the second day Shavuos. What's special about it? Okay, so there was by the Rebbe's, the Hasidic Chabad Rebbe's, they had a custom say, okay, that the first night of Shavuot, the first night of the holiday of Shavuot, which is coming Sunday night, they'll say a Hasidic discourse. Hasidic, they all say Hasidus, right? When would they do it? That's right while lighting candles time, just before, no, right before the evening starts. And that was the way it went for many generations. Anyway, so we're talking about Shavuos, year nine Nunvav. So we're talking about eight, 1896. Okay, 1896. The fifth Chabad Rebbe said a Maimah, a Chassid discourse, and it was a very long one, and it took like 2.5 hours. Can you imagine giving a talk for 2.5 hours? A very deep Hasidic philosophy by this, so that, yeah, as you know, the night Shavuos time, the day starts very late, right? The evening is very not late. The night starts, talking about Russia, but still, it starts late there. Anyway, the time you have the davening, the prayer is like a very serious prayer. It's like the first day, Rebbe, the first night Shavuos prayer is very serious and can take a while. Time they got to the meal after service was very very late. So by that meal, there was Rebbe Rashab, the Rebbe, the Chabad Rebbe that time, and they were there. Well, one of the guests who invited was actually our Rebbe's grandfather. His name was Baruch Schneer, our Rebbe's father's father, our Rebbe's grandfather. And he said that this year, um, we had Tmimus B'Dech Memela. What does that mean? Tmimus B'Dech Memela. As you know, you need to have 49 days between Pesach, the first of the Omer. We count the Omer every day, right? On the second day of Passover until 49 days, and then the Shavuos. So interestingly enough, that every holiday, okay, you can bring in early. Shabbos, for example. This you can bring Shabbos on, you have to wait until night. As long as it's after Plag, which is approximately an hour and a half before night, depends on the day of the year, depends on the calendar, but roughly an hour and a half or so, depends when. You can bring Shabbos in early. So, for example, this Shabbos, we can bring in around 7:25 earliest. You can light candles. I mean, that was last week. I'm not sure about this coming week, maybe a little later. Around that time, let's say around 7:30, even though it's still light outside. See, now it's 27, it's still light outside. But you can already bring in Shabbos. But Shavuos is an exception. You can't bring it in early. You have to wait until it's night. For us here in Michigan, it's pretty tough because the night is very late, and you can't bring him a kiddush. You can't do services before night. Why? Because you need 49 complete days. And if you're gonna bring in the holiday early, then you're missing the completion of 49 days, right?
Right.
So you need to mimos, you need complete days. So the Reb Baruch Schneerson said that this year we had Tamimos, it was automatically we had complete days, didn't have to wait. Sometimes you have to sit and wait until night. But here we didn't have to wait. The Maimo, the Chassid discourse was so long that the time we're ready for even, so it was really shortly night. It was night, real night. So the Rebbe Rashab heard this saying that, and said he made a comment. What was the comment? He said, "B'chsidim, nothing's b'derech b'meila," which means nothing comes automatically. You have to work for it. Chasidus and derech b'meila don't go together. Anything that we have, well, spiritually speaking, like dedicating Torah, praying, working hard on yourself, perfecting yourself. You have to work on it. It doesn't come automatically. That is, you have to do your own work. You have to do your own effort. You have to put your work into it. Then
from down up. You have to work for it. It's called from down up.
thank you. Down, up. Okay. So basically, it's not that I'm just wake up in the morning and then I'm dedicated to I pray without any distractions automatically, and I it just it goes easy, and my way of serving God, and I have all my everything's perfect. No, you're not perfect. We work on it to be perfect. We try, but we have to work on ourselves. Thank you, Joel. Down, up. Now, this is an interesting topic. Why? Because, as you know, Shevuos is coming up, Shavuot. What's it called? How do you, if you ask somebody, what is Shavuos? Or you don't have to ask it, look in the Psidah. Every Yom Tov, every holiday has the title, what the title of the holiday is. If you look at Passover, it says Man Chag HaMatzos, says it. Right? The holiday, festival of matzos. Look at Sukkot, it'll say Chag HaSukkos, says it. The holiday of Sukkot. What does Shavuos say? Zman Matan Torah say no. What does that mean? The time Matan like a present. Matan Torah, we got the Torah as a gift. The time when Torah was gifted to us. That's one idea of Shavuos. There's another concept of Shavuos, Kabbalah of Torah, which means receiving the Torah.
Yeah, from up down, exactly.
Right. So you have to. So what is it? Is it? That's the question. Is it given to us? Is it a Matan Torah, or is Kabbalah of Torah, receiving the Torah? Right? Kind
So
of.
so
Yeah.
so it's kind of okay. So the holiday itself is Matan Torah,
Correct.
but the I don't know how you say mahut, but the essence of it is work of the Torah, is work of the mitzvah, and so that's how the one complement each other. So the Torah was given up down, and the essence of work of the Torah and the mitzvahs is working down up.
Correct. And that's so this is what Chassidus tells us. Chassidus is telling us, gives us the awakens in us this concept of we have to work. We have to not only see the Torah, which of course we get it from God, but we have to work on it. Like it says in the Pasuk in the Torah, you have to make it. You have to make yourself a vessel to receive the Torah. Like the Alter Rebbe, the founder of Chabad movement, said a very interesting point. He said that Shavuos was three things. What was given? Three things. What's three things? First of all, the revealed part of Torah. They call that Nigla Torah. The revealed part, like I don't know how to make tefillin, how to write mezuzot, how to keep kosher, keeping Shabbat, all the the halacha, the rights and wrongs, and basically the revealed part of Torah, right? All the laws. Then there is the hidden part of Torah, Penimis Torah, the inner level of Torah, right? These two giving us the and the third thing is giving us the power, the strength to awaken in ourselves, giving us the ability. Everything we have to do on our own, but everything we get from God. God gives us the strength to work on our own to elevate ourselves. Okay, that we should elevate ourselves to be able to receive the Torah. You with me? We work on ourselves. We elevate ourselves. We refine ourselves, elevate ourselves, that we can receive the Torah properly. Okay, so we have the Matan Torah. That's what we just mentioned, given the present of the Torah. But the other hand, Kabbalah, we have to work on ourselves to receive the Torah. Okay? And just, like, when it comes to Pesach, so in English you say Passover. My father-in-law's father used to say, you shouldn't let Passover pass over you. Don't let it pass over your head. Take it inwardly. Don't let Passover pass over. It's the same idea what I say here. Don't let Shavuos is given to us Torah, but we have to work on ourselves to receive the Torah. Yeah. Okay, we have to digest it, work on ourselves. Right now, with having said all this, this is a specialty of the second day Shavuos. What's so special about the Rabbeim, the Chabad rabbis, and even the Baal Shem Tov too, the founder of Chabad, founder of Hasidic in general, had a special deer. He counted
Yeah,
very, very dear, very special, the second day Shavuos.
because it's the first day, the first 24 hours of after giving the Torah.
You got it. That's number one. Right. So we not only found the Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov took it very seriously. His successor, his Zutra Magid, and then the Alter Rebbe, and all
The
the Rebbe,
Mezrich.
our Rebbe too. When he had his gatherings and said it's Hasidic and he made the Shavuos gatherings was on the second day of Shavuos. The question is, why not the first day? Now, the Baal Shem Tov himself, him personally, his passing was the first day of Shavuos. Okay? And his burial was the second day of Shavuos. So, why would he? Why? It means he obviously he treasured that day because that's the day of his passing. It means when his whole avodah, his whole service of God will. So when it's the yahrzeit, the passing of a person that day, all what they did in their whole life comes to a completion, right?
So the second day was not holiday. Since he was buried on second day, it cannot be holiday.
Oh no! Oh, okay. This is just a side note, which is you already mentioned. If God forbid someone passes his first day short, you're not allowed to. We bury a person can be buried even if you bury him through a non-Jew on the second day, because it's so important to bury someone as soon as possible. According to Jewish law, we don't push off. We don't push off a funeral.
En milinin et amet.
Thank you. We should don't let a dead person stay overnight. It's so painful for the soul. The soul cannot rest until he's
Rabbi, I know that. That's what I ask you.
So
when
yes,
second day was established as a holiday, when the first time second day was established,
it was close
by
back.
whom?
Oh, it was established. That's another issue. The side issue, but you already asked. I'll tell you. The time of when they used to make the months according to the the people witnesses will come to the court in Jerusalem and say we saw the new moon, and then they'll make the new month, right?
Right.
Yeah. So the time people got the news took a couple of weeks. Some to say weren't sure what the previous month was. Was it 29 days to 30 days? Therefore, they weren't sure, so they kept 2 days on doubt because they weren't sure if the previous month was 30 days, and then it's a day earlier, or it's 29 day later, excuse me, or 29 days, then it's a day earlier. They weren't sure, so they kept 2 days. They weren't sure when it was. But what you're asking is another topic, which I wasn't really trying to talk about. But you're really asking, Shavuos maybe it fits into our topic here. Shavuos doesn't fit into that category because Shavuos has nothing to do if Sivan, the month that we're in now, is 20. If the previous month ER is 29, 30 days, Shavuos goes back to Pesach. So really, Shavuos shouldn't have an extra day. Shavuos should be 1 day because by now there's nothing to do with this month.
That's what I asked.
So the reason why we have an extra day, Shavuos, is because we don't have a friendship between one holiday and the other. Since Pesach has the extra day, Sukkot has the extra day, we don't want to say Shavuos is different. So it has an advantage that's completely rabbinic. The other holidays, you're not sure. Maybe it's Torah. Maybe this is the right day. Maybe it's not the right day. But Shavuos, we know for certain it's not holiday, right?
Yeah, we call it here Yom Shini Shel Galuyot. In Israel, they call it Isru Chag.
Isru Chag, correct. Well, here Isru Chag is a day later. Okay, let's get back to our topic. We don't want to get too much distracted here. So basically, they cherish the second day Shavuos. Now, why you cherish the second day Shavuos? The Rebbe's and actually in the Zutra market, the success of the Baal Shem Tov said, because the first, as Jubal just mentioned, it's the first 24 hours after Torah was given. And he said, right? So it's the first 24 hours. And another reason. What's the other reason? The other reason is because in Talmud, okay, there's a big disagreement, this discussion between Rabbi Yossi and the Chachamim. Okay, Rabbi Yossi is one of the sages in Talmud, and the Chachamim were the other rabbis, the other general rabbis, and they disagreed what day Torah was given. According to the Chachamim, according to the general, the other rabbis, Torah was given on the 6th day of Nisan, of Sivan, excuse me, the 6th of the month. And according to Rabbi Yossi, it was given the 7th of the month. Okay? So the machlokas, was it the 6th of the month. We all know Shabbos' Torah was given. Everyone agrees with that. But the question is, what day of the month? Was it a 6th day of the month or the 7th of the month? Okay? And each one brings a proof, and the other one disagrees, and the other one brings another proof, and the other one disagrees, and back and forth. So, in contrast, Rabbi Yossi, the 2nd day Shevuos is actually the day when Torah was given. Okay? So therefore, the rabbis, or the Rabbi Shem Tov, had a special love, a special cherish the 2nd day Shevuos. Now, if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. It's a contradiction in terms. In one hand, we say it's the day after 24 hours after Torah was given. On the other hand, you say, according to Rabbi Yossi, it was the day when Torah was given. So what? Which one? Which side of you? What side of the coin? If you're saying today it was special because it's first 24 hours after it was given, then what's Rabbi Yossi important? Rabbi Yossi says this is the day when Torah was given. If you're concerned about the day when Torah was given, that's not first 24 hours. It's kind of a contradiction in terms, right? So the Rebbe actually talks about this, and the Rebbe said, very interesting. The Rebbe says, why in context, why was Torah given on the 7th? On the 7th, what's the logic? And the Talmud says because according to Rabbi Yossi, Moshe Rabbeinu added a day. When God said, "Get ready in 3 days," for the Torah was given, Moshe went and added a day. He increased. It says, "Hosif Yom Echad Midato." Moshe added a day. Sorry?
And Hashem agreed.
Yes. In contra Rabbi Yossi, in contra Chachamim, in contra other rabbis, in contra Rabbi Yossi, yes. So in contra Rabbi Yossi, Moses added a day. Moshe added a day for preparation. What's so special about that? What do you see from here? We see from here the elevation, the specialty of us, of a human being. We are working for the Torah. Not only given to us from heaven, we are working. Why Moshe add another day? Because we should prepare ourselves more. He wanted us to receive. When we see the Torah, we should be ready for it. We should absorb it in a way that we're ready. So he said, you know what? The Jewish people are not ready. We need to add a day. That when they see the Torah, they should really be able to get it properly. You know, sometimes you're not ready yet, and then you get it. If you're not ready and you get it, you're not able to accept it properly. Another day of preparation, according to Rabbi Yossi, Moshe thought they'll really be ready. So we see here, yes, so we got both hands here. In according to the Chachamim, according to the other rabbis, it was the first 24 hours after Torah was given. Again, you see the word, not only Matan Torah, which is present from Torah, present from heaven. The 2nd day of Shevuos is more the idea of Kabbalah Torah. We're receiving the Torah. That's the emphasis. The first day is given to us. The 2nd day is that we now, as recipients of the Jewish people, we are now receiving the Torah. We're going to elevate it. We absorb the Torah. Okay? And Kohen has the same idea. Because Rabbi Yossi also, why do you wait another day? Because we're able to receive it in a much better way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, and that's very interesting. If you look in the Torah says, "Vayar Yishvat HaKolos Avrach," and they heard the Kol HaShofar, the voice of the shofar, Kolos Avrakim, voices and the lightning. V'Zahar Oshen, and the mountain was smoking. Now, what's the difference? I mean, you think about, nice terms, the voices of the shofar, and the voice of the shofar because it was by the ram which was from the binding of Isaac, right? So Abraham took the ram instead of Isaac, and it had 2 horns, 2 shofars. One shofar is using Matan Torah, and the other shofar will be used when Mashiach will come. Anyway, so you have the kol shofar, you have the voice of the shofar, right?
Rabbi Zalman, can I ask you a question? Where are those shofars? So, do we know where they are?
I don't know. That's a hard question. All right, so you have the voice of the shofar, you have the voices, you have the lightning, and then you have the smoke. What's the difference? If you think about it, It's not just terms. The voice of the shofar, the light, is it something from heaven that comes out from it? What's the idea of smoke? How do you get smoke? Well, it's from fire. When something is completely burnt, it goes into, it gets embedded, it gets ingrained in the thing, the fire, and you have the smoke. So the smoke is from the thing itself. It's not coming from heaven, from above. It's from the thing itself, right? So here you have the voice. So this idea of Kabbalah Satorah, the specialty of we working on ourselves and elevating ourselves, right, to receive the Torah, right? That's the idea of this ushin, the smoke. We on ourselves are. It's not just given to us; we're working on it. Now it's very interesting because in Atzeres, yeah, if you look at if you look at this Yom Tov Shevuos is called Atzeres. What does Atzeres mean? You go to Israel and you look at the stop sign, right? I mean, I've been there for 15 years, but as far as I understand, if it hasn't changed, you say Atzor, right?
Right.
Well, I'm sure he'll agree with, right? Atzor, stop. That's Atzeres, right? Now, there's two holidays that are called Atzeres. You have Shevuos, called Atzeres, and you have the last day of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres, the day before Simchas Torah, it's called Shmini Atzeres. Also called Atzeres. Stop. Now, what's the difference between the two? Or why is it called that? No, what? Yeah, well, okay, let's start with that. What? When it said, what's the difference between the two? Big difference. When it comes to Shavuos, sorry, Shmini Atzeres, it says Shez Hashem Elekecha. Atzeres to God. The holiday should be for God. When it comes to Shavuos, it says Atzeres Tia Lachem. You should have that Atzeres. It's for you. Now, there's machlokas, disagreement with the rabbi. Is it half for God? Is it completely for God? Or half completely for God, that says? Or it's half for God and half for us? How do you celebrate it? Only for Hashem, also for us? All the disagreements. When it comes to Shavuos, kulam, everyone agrees you need lachem. Everyone agrees, all the opinions agree that it has to be for you. It means we have to internalize it. So for us, for the Jewish people, for us to internalize it's not only for Hashem, it's for us. We have to come make ourselves a vessel and make ourselves be able to receive what Ceres is. Now, what idea of Ceres? Just a side issue. One of the reasons why you see every holiday has its specialty, like Pesach. Everyone knows you can't. As you ask someone, what's Pesach? They'll tell you. Anybody. Can eat chametz, eat matzah. Everyone knows that. What's sukkahs? You know something. Lulav. Yeah, what's Shavuos? I don't know. Cheesecake. What are you gonna say? Blinzers. What mitzvah? Where is saying Torah to do on Shavuos? And the answer is doesn't. It doesn't. It just said a holiday. It doesn't say what. There's no. So Atzeres, stop. Don't do work. And one of the reasons is because you can't receive the Torah is everything. If you have a certain mitzvah, you say this, just this, and nothing else. If you say this mitzvah, if mitzvah have a certain mitzvah to do, then you'll say that's the whole thing. And the answer is no. It's everything. You can't define it in anything specific because it's everything. Actually, interesting because we're talking about it. When they used to say in the temple, in the Beit HaMikdash, they'll say the 10 Commandments every day, and then they stopped. And the reason is because people say that's the only thing you have to keep, the 10 Commandments, nothing else. Once you define, right, they stop saying it, because if you start saying, people say that's the only mitzvahs you have to do, 10 Commandments, everything else is not important, because you don't say it. So once you define it in a certain thing, that's it, nothing else. So Shavuos includes everything, and we have to. So it's one of the most, not one of, it is in this sense the most important Yom Tov of the year. People don't realize how important it is. That's when everything started. That's when we became a Jewish people. That's when God chose us as a people who we are. Everything stems from Shavuos. That's when the Jewish people were chosen as a Jewish nation. That's when God not only chose us and we accepted to do, and that's why to do Hashem wants. That's why it's called. You know why it's called? One of the reasons why it's called Shevuot. Shevuos comes from the word. It's like comes from the word. One of the words of Shevuah is an oath. Shevuah, oath. It's a double. It's a plural. What does it mean double? We made the oath to God, and God made the oath to us. We made an oath that we're never going to forsake God, and God made an oath to us. He's never going to trade us for other people. So we swore to each other.
Is it the same word as a week?
And also, another thing, yes, seven. We counted 7 weeks from Pesach till Shavuos to 7 weeks. Yes, correct. But another explanation of Shavuos is the idea of oath, because we made an oath to God, God made an oath to us. Now, so that's so important. The 10 Commandments, they are in Shavuos. So I hope all of you will be able to come to Shul and hear the 10 Commandments. We're going to have services in Chabad House at on Monday, God willing. 10 Commandments should be services start at 10 o'clock. So 10 Commandments should be around, I'll say 11:30. And then if you, whatever reason, cannot make the morning, come in the afternoon. We have a special service in the afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Okay, 4:30 p.m. We'll have the Torah reading. We're going to read the 10 Commandments again. Who can't come in the morning, and there'll be blintzes. There'll be what's the again? Cheesecake and all you name it, blintzes and all that stuff. So choose which one you can come. It's worth it. Your soul will be very happy. As my father will say, have pity on your soul. Try and make it. It'll be good for you, and bring anyone else you can. Every Jew, no one left behind. Every Jew, especially children, to come and listen to the children, to God. The guarantors for the children. And God said, "What's the guarantee?" And I want a guarantee for the Torah, and all the Jews were giving different options of who's going to be the guarantee. God said, we said to God, our prophets and our God didn't accept it, our teachers God didn't accept it. Everything they presented, God did to refuse. When they said our children were the guarantors, now we know we're going to keep the Torah. Very simple. If your children come to Torah study, then they keep the Torah, then their children, and you have a future. Until we're sitting here today, only because our fathers did it and taught us, so we're here. So have a good Yom Tov, everybody. Enjoy it. Have a good Yom Tov, good Shavuos. And
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
Just
you.
one more point. The previous Rebbe would say, "Exceed the Torah b'simcha v'pnimius," in a happy way, inwardly. Happy, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Rabbi.